Good evening. I actually want to start today a series. It should take 5, 6, 7 lectures. And I would like to start from A to Z, the 613 mitzvot. And I tell you from experience that most of the religious people, include those who learn in yeshiva, cannot tell you the 613 mitzvot by heart. And that's being optimistic. If they can tell you a third of them by heart, that's already impressive. And that's a very big hole in our education. As Jews, I would think that every kid in first grade should have tell you from A to Z 613 mitzvot. If you don't know the 613 mitzvot, that's already really, it's like a building with 3 legs. It's a hole in our foundation. But it's not as simple as it sounds. It's not so simple. Why? Because more than half of these mitzvot is all kinds of sacrifices which were relevant to the time of the temple. 2,000 years without practicing it, it's just natural that so many people forgot about them completely. And even when you learn about it, there's still a lot of doubts. What did it really mean? How to do it? All these things. So, of course, we're not going to learn everything with all the details, because then every mitzvah you can learn about a year. And we don't have the time. So briefly, I started that in Hebrew, and in the first lecture I did 70 mitzvot. 70 from 613. So, about 6, about 7, 8, 9, maybe 9 lectures altogether. And of course, you know me, I always remember about different things, which makes it even longer than what it should be. Anyway, we will start today, and we go by the right order, the way they appear in the Torah, in the right order. And you should know that besides the 613 commandments that we have in the Torah, and as you know, the Goyim only have to keep 7 laws, there are 7 mitzvot derabanan, that the rabbi made it. 7 extra mitzvot. So actually it made it 620. Why Hashem chose 613 mitzvot? We spoke about it in previous lectures, because the body of a person has 613 parts, which means 248 organs, 365 ligaments. And that's exactly how the Torah is. 248 positive commandments, 1 for each organ, and 365 restrictions, 1 for each ligament, which is very interesting. The way the image of a soul of a person, which looks exactly like his body, when the soul comes out of the body, looking at the soul, imagine a puzzle, a picture of a puzzle with 613 pieces. Each piece is either a restriction or a commandment or a mitzvah. Now, if a person did not keep some of these commandments, what you're going to have in this puzzle? You're going to have blank spots. So imagine, you see a little bit blue, a little bit green, a little bit brown. There's no image. You cannot see one eye, the other one is missing. Well, that's hard, because usually the scenes are be done with both eyes. Either you do or you don't. Usually people don't look at the girls with one eye only. Why are you doing like this? I want to get half of the punishment. I don't want to do it, but I cannot live without it. So I found a way to compromise. I close one eye. All right, let's start. So the first mitzvah, believe it or not, is to get married and have children. There's really no mitzvah to get married. No mitzvah. But the only way to be able to have children in a legal way is to buy a wife. How you marry her? You buy her. You give her something, $2, $5, a ring, whatever she agrees with. But it has to have some kind of a value. She may tell you, you want to marry me? I want a $100,000 Mercedes. That's my condition. And if you don't give it to her, you're not married. If that was the condition, you must get it. Well, it's just a question if you're normal to marry a girl like this. That's another question. That reminds me of a girl, she was going on a date, so now she found a guy that she likes. So of course, in America, the first question in a date is, So what do? This is a nice way to ask how much money you have in your account. Should I waste my next 2 hours with you or not? Or I find an excuse that I have a headache, or pretend that I got a text that I have to run. So you say, well, I'm a very fancy lawyer. Yeah, very nice. Tell me, what are lawyers in your position make a year? 200,000 a year. So she said, oh. I said, what, not good? First year out of law school, 200,000, not good for you? What do you mean, oh? She said, no, it's good, but the question is, what's going to be left for you? This is the minimum for me to start the year, you know. Just 500 pairs of shoes, she needs 200,000. I once went to put mezuzot in one mansion in somewhere here in New York. It took me from morning to night, me and my assistant, all day we sticking mezuzot, and we didn't finish. It was 5, 6 in the evening, it became dark already. We banging it's like a construction job. Another one, and another one. More than 80 mezuzot in one house we put. Then when I came to the closet of the woman in the bedroom, there's one closet for the man, one for the woman. The closet is the size of a room. If it's more than 6 by 6, then it becomes a room. You can put a bed there and sleep. Then it obligates a mezuzah. So I'm thinking to myself, okay, I gotta put mezuzah. But I couldn't walk in. The amount of shoes that she had over there, boxes and open, was maybe, I don't know, maybe 70, 80 pairs of shoes. I couldn't walk in to bang the mezuzah. I had to start moving the shoes. Why? Probably every hour she buy another pair of shoes. And this is a righteous woman. Very righteous. Seriously. Modest, love Hashem, generous, everything. Get the best mezuzot. I don't want to save anything when it comes to religion. Not like today. He buy a car for $200,000 and then he bargain with you if there's a tefillin $50 cheaper. Don't you have $50 cheaper, Rabbi? Come on, it's too much, $600. Or mezuzah, $66? Why it's so expensive, a piece of paper? What do you mean, you fool? It takes 4 hours to write. It's with a feather, the old way. It's not a copy. Take a page from a book and you make a copy. That's a reform mezuzah. That reminds me about a good joke. Wow, we didn't start, we already have. Oh, yes, maybe it's a good start. One guy, he came to an Orthodox rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I bought a Lamborghini Sport, and I want you to give me a good mezuzah to put in it. So the rabbi said, what's Lamborghini Sport? The rabbi says, he said, no, it's a car. So well, what do you mean, a car? Yeah, sport car, Italian sport car. So the Orthodox rabbi told him, shame on you. You want to put mezuzah in a car? Well, you want to make a new Torah? The car, it's not a place to live in. You don't need mezuzah in a car. He said, no, Rabbi, I'm telling you, this car is so expensive, I want to watch it. I want to be able to protect it. He said, no, you want mezuzah, go to the Reform, to the conservative, maybe they get you mezuzah for the car. So he went to the conservative rabbi. He said, Rabbi, I want mezuzah for the Lamborghini Sport. So the rabbi say, oh yeah, you want mezuzah for the Lamborghini Sport? So he says to him, you know what Lamborghini is? The Orthodox rabbi didn't know what it is, but the conservative, he knows a little bit. So he said, yeah, I heard it's a very fancy car. But from what country? Who made it? He said, no, the Italians. Oh, no, the Italians, they helped the Nazis in the Holocaust. I'm not giving you a mezuzah for an Italian car. Get an American car, I'll give you mezuzah. But for Italian or German, no mezuzah. Okay. He waved the Israel flag, he's a Zionist, forget it. So, okay, I gotta go to the Reform. So he come to the Reform rabbi, he said, Rabbi, I bought this Lamborghini Sport, and I want a mezuzah, I want the car to be protected. So the Reform rabbi said, well, it's a problem. So he said, why? You don't know what Lamborghini is? He said, no, Lamborghini Sport, the best Italian sport cars. For sure I know what it is. So what's the problem? I'm not sure I know what a mezuzah is. One guy came to a Reform rabbi. He told him, Rabbi, my son went to Israel on a trip and he came back with a tzitzit. I'm very nervous. I don't want him now to become religious. The rabbi said, no, he's 16, leave him alone. 2 months back in New York, forget about it. 2 days later, the boy dropped the tzitzit. So the rabbi told him, I see, there's nothing to worry about. A year later, he sent his other son. His other son went, he came back with a tzitzit and a yarmulke. Now he really got nervous. He runs to the rabbi, what's going on? So the rabbi said, no, remember last year? So instead of 2 days, it's going to take 2 weeks. He'll get rid of it, don't worry. His friends are going to tell him, what's this? It doesn't belong in the 21st century. We met 2 weeks later. So wow, this rabbi knows what he's talking about. The third son now, he sends him to Israel. He comes back, tzitzit, yarmulke, beard, and he wants to go to yeshiva for good now. The father is almost fainting. He runs to the rabbi. Rabbi, it's not only kippah and tzitzit and a beard. He wants now to go to yeshiva for the whole year. The rabbi said, wow, that's a serious problem. Bring me your mezuzot. We have to check them. Such tragedy happened. You know, your son wants to go to yeshiva instead of going to college. What a tragedy. You understand? We're laughing, but that's the reality today. You know, these jokes, it's like they say in Hebrew, En ashan bli esh. There's no smoke when there's no fire. If there was some smoke, go check where the source of the fire. Anyway, so I started to say, mitzvah pruvu, multiply and have children. Who is obligated? Only the men. Women are not obligated to have children. If a woman is addicted to the Torah, she wants to be like this, like the wife of Rabbi Meir Baal HaNes, she wants to sit with the tefillin and learn Gemara all day, nobody can stop her. That's one of the reasons we don't teach the girls Gemara. Because many of the girls are very smart, sometimes even smarter than a boy, in average. And when they begin to see the beauty of the Gemara, they say, who wants to get married and change diapers? And, you know, maybe she have 3 assistants that washing the dishes for her. But still, why do I need this kind of life? Run to the grocery, take bags to the car. You know, it's too much for me to press the remote and open the trunk. It's too much of a job, Rabbi. You know, I'd rather sit in the air condition and enjoy the Gemara. I had a girl like this. She started to learn Gemara, forget it. We had to right away, made her stop. Another week, that's it, she became a man. She come to the bed, me, convert me to be a male. Yeah, why? It's an addiction. Once you know what you do, you go in deeply and deeply, that means you cannot live without it. And the problem is that women don't have Yetzer Hara. A man has the evil inclination against learning Torah. Yeah, like yesterday, instead of 300 people to the lecture, only 50 showed up. Why? I didn't know at the time of the lecture why. But then after I found out, there was an NBA final yesterday. What a fool I am, making a lecture in the night. 2 weddings. The guy who organized the lecture, his brother getting married, he didn't show up. The guy who organized the lecture, but that wasn't really the problem. That's only a minor problem. The real problem is the Yetzer Hara. How is Yetzer Hara going to let you learn Torah? Every day. But the women is a different story. Since they are not obligated, there is no obstacle. Once she learns, she enjoys. She can see it an hour or 2, she enjoys it, no problem. But the man, 5 minutes in the lecture, he begin to play with his BlackBerry. How many messages I had today? You check 500 times already. Now in the middle of the lecture, you remember to tell the cousin of your uncle or something, if you show up next week to the meeting, can I do it another hour? Oh. The nerve system is boiling. Can't. This is it. So, same thing going. It takes me maximum an hour to make any goy you want a Jew. And I'm not exaggerating. Anyone you want. 1 hour, right away say, okay, forget it. Enough with my nonsense. Help me out. No, what's the next step? How many, you can take 70 years with a Jew. Why? A Jew has a big resistance. Once he's obligated, anyone, not only a Jew, non-Jew, a male, female, when you are obligated in that specific mitzvah, then you have resistance. When you are not obligated, it's sweet like honey, no obstacle. When you become obligated, then you feel the weight on your shoulder. How come, Rabbi, When I was 12, my father used to take me to shul. I was praying like a tiger, 3 hours. Look, now I became bar mitzvah, I cannot sit 5 minutes. When you're 12, you're not obligated. Now you are obligated. Now the Satan doesn't leave you alone. This is the way life is. So a woman, she's not obligated to get married. But a clever woman, every fool knows, if the only way to have kids in the world is through me, I have to cooperate with God's plans, no? Right? Besides that, the psychology of a woman, she's more under pressure to get married than the men. Why? Because the women have a biological timer. When they get to their 40s, it becomes now harder to get married. What is it like? When you sell your property, in Israel, you cannot sell a property for good. It's only until the year of the Yovel. Every 50 years, there's a special year, the 7 times 7, 49 years. And the 58th year, it's called Shnat HaYovel. You release the slaves, and all the property that were sold go back to the original owner. But how do you know when you sell a property, what's the value of the property? You count how many more years you have left until the year of the Yovel. If you have 3 more years left, what you can do in 3 years? Then the price is very small. If you have 30 years, the price is 10 times more. Same thing like what they call in America lease. When you sell a business, you can have a great business with great reputation. If you have only 1 year left on the lease, nobody wants to touch your store. Who's going to be a fool? Come, make a moving, renovate the place, change all the corporation, pay the lawyers, this, that. 12 months later, he has to go because the rent go from 5,000 to 30,000. The business has no value. But if it's many years on a lease, people are willing to pay. Why? Because I have 10 years to make money. This is it. Same thing a woman. The older she gets, her value as far as marriage is going lower and lower. It's not necessarily like this by a man. A man 30 or a man 40 is really the same. He can still have kids. 50, he can still have kids. 60, he can still have kids. 75, he can still have kids. There's no limitation when it comes to have children. But a woman, even though I have an article about 65 years old woman that she gave birth. When Hashem wants, Sarah Imenu was 90 when she gave birth. Yochevet, the mother of Moshe, was 130 years old when she was born. Yochevet, Ben Hashmashot, Yochevet, 130 years old. So there are miracles that HaKadosh Baruch Hu made. Of course, 1 to a million, you have a miracle. Well, we're talking nature now. Nature, 44, 45, today with the advance of the technology and the doctor, maybe 46, but that's just about it. And I see it in Shidduchim all the time. Every time I offer a girl to somebody, as soon as he finds out she's in her 40s, and especially never been married before, nobody wants, almost. Why? He wants to have children. Unless if he's divorced with children from his first marriage, then he's not worried so much. Okay, I already have children. She's a good girl, let me marry her. But someone who didn't have children, he knows this is the first mitzvah in the Torah. Multiply and have children. What does it mean to have the mitzvah of Pru'uvu? You must have at least 1 boy and 1 girl. If you have 10 boys, you didn't fulfill the mitzvah. If you have 10 girls, you did not fulfill the mitzvah. At least 1 boy and 1 girl that are healthy and are able to have children when they get to their 18 years old age. Which means if you have a boy and a girl and 5 dogs, technically you made the mitzvah of Pru'uvu, the first mitzvah. But it's only technically, hypothetically speaking, because you don't really know if your girl is barren or not, or if the boy. Maybe when in 20 years from now they find out he got married and he cannot have kids. Or the girl, she's 20, 22, 23, 4, 5, 7, 30, 10 years she's married, she doesn't have kids. She goes and have all this exam and she finds out she cannot have kids. Well, in that case, retroactive, the father of this girl, if she's the only girl that he has, never made that mitzvah. So you see that some mitzvot in the Torah, it's not 100% in our hand. Person did everything he can to get married, and he didn't get married. He did everything. He offered money, he offered a house, he offered his life, and not 1 girl wanted him, for whatever reason, or the other way around. So he comes to Shamayim, and he said to Hashem, what do you want from me? I gave my life to get married, and it just didn't happen. Every time, God cancel, who knows what. And I see people like this. So almost, God forbid, like a curse. They try to do everything, and it's just not working. Most of the time, it comes from punishments from previous lives. Why? A woman that cheated on her husband 4 times in her previous life. You want her to get married again? Now she has to be single for 50 years and feel the pain. Measure for measure. Or a husband that was violent, abused his wives, and again, bad father, bad husband, cheating, drugs, alcohol, violence, beating her up, sending her to the emergency room. Then Hashem says, okay, instead of sending you to Gehenom, I'm sending you back to this world. You're going to be a handsome, rich guy, and you won't get married. You see all the ugly and the not successful people getting married one after the other. Your friends have grandkids, and you die lonely. Why? Measure for measure. And he doesn't know that he's suffering from something that happened 80 years ago, because he was in a different body. It's a different soul. It's the same soul, but a different body. But that's what life is all about. There is no way to understand life without the concept of reincarnation, which was already proven scientifically. Reincarnation has already been proven 100% scientifically by the parapsychologist. So you understand why people coming with birth defect, why one person is very smart, the other one no, one person is very rich, the other one is not, is doing everything, but he can't. There's many explanations. Most of that relates to the previous life. So,
what happens to adopt?
Adopt is nothing. It's not consider your children. Yes, you made a mitzvah, you raise an orphan or something like that, so it's count for you chesed. But it's not your biological kid. A biological kid only if it comes from the seed of the father, the actual father. Also, if for whatever reason the father cannot have kids, and they get a donation of a seed from an anonymous, the bank of the sperm, whatever they call it, and then the boy is not the son of the father, is a son of the mother, but is not the son of the father. Or sometimes the mother cannot get pregnant, so they take from the father and they use, it's called em pundakait. Pundak, it's like a motel, when you live there for only a week and then you come out. She only uses an incubator for 9 months. It's like visiting an hotel. That's where the expression comes from. I don't know how you... Surrogate. To surrogate? Surrogate? Yeah, give me 3 years to remember this word and call me back in 3 years. Huh?
And they say Kaddish? Surrogate?
Kaddish everyone can say. Technically, everyone can say Kaddish. You can say Kaddish for a person. We say Kaddish for souls of people that never had children. We don't even know who they are. We say in Yeshiva in Monsi, for all the people who don't have who to say Kaddish on them. Don't know who they are. So really it's no problem, Kaddish. That's why, of course, they're allowed. Also, there's a lot of questions. If they see Shiva, they have to rip their shirt. You understand? Or when they go up to the Torah, they ask them, Moshe ben, what does it say? The name of his adopting father? Or the name of his biological father who dumped him or for whatever reason couldn't raise him, or whatever the case is. There's a lot of questions. That's not the time right now. So remember, now even if you have 10 girls and 10 guys, and God forbid they all die in a plane crash, up to that moment it seems that you made pru'urvu. When they all died, it goes back to 0. You didn't make. If you still have time to bring another girl and a guy to the life, then maybe you did it. But if not, it's not. That's it. So this mitzvah, most of it's in your hand, but not 100% in your hand. It's not like tefillin. Tefillin is 100% in my hand. Do I want to put it or not? That's it. I have the money. I can buy it and put it. Nobody's stopping me. So that's 100% in my hand. Same thing tzitzit. Same thing mezuzah. Same thing making bracha when I eat, or birkat hamazon. Nobody stops me. But some mitzvot, it's not in your hand. If you find a bird in a nest or not, maybe yes, maybe not. You don't know the future. If you have children or not, maybe yes, maybe not. You don't know. Let's move on. Second mitzvah, it's just as natural if the first mitzvah is to get married and have children, that when the children are born, you have to circumcise the male born on the 8 days. On the 8th day, during the day, during the day, not at night. At night you're not allowed. It has to be on the 8th day. Even if it falls on Shabbat, when in Shabbat you're not allowed to cut and do an operation and get blood out, unless if it's a life risk. And here to circumcise a baby, it's not a life risk. But since the Torah clearly say in the 8 days including Shabbat, the Gemara in Masechet Shabbat chapter 19, it's called Rabbi Eliezer de Milah. So the whole chapter speaking about circumcision on Shabbat. How do we know it's allowed? Because it's either a big mitzvah or a huge sin. If it's not allowed, you're just you're violating the covenant with Hashem. It's not? Okay, so we did the mitzvah anyway. What did we lose? It doesn't work that way. You understand? You do not know if you have to eat matzah today or not. Big deal. You make bracha, you eat matzah. If yes, I made. If not, nothing happened. It's not the same. Over here, if you circumcise on Shabbat and you're not allowed, you just made so many sins of Shabbat. Warming water, chilul Shabbat. Cutting, taking blood out, doing all kinds of things, using medicine. Oh, it could be 5, 6 different sins. The Torah say you're allowed. Okay, now, if the first 2 kids died in a circumcision, some people have a sickness that the blood doesn't have vitamin K and it doesn't clog. If there is a wound, the blood is programmed that after a few minutes it dries out and closes the hole. And that's life-saving. But once in a while you have people that don't have this. If you cut them by a little cut, they bleed to death. They must rush into the emergency room. Today they have medicine that the parents always have. They're ready. The teachers have at school. Everybody. I remember when I was a kid, there was one like this in my class, and the teacher every day announced, if something happened to this boy, if you see him cut, run quickly to me. Everyone remember, this boy cannot get cut. Why? An hour later he's going to be dead. Every other person, no, he gets cut. 5 minutes later it's fine. But if 2 kids die, the third one, you're not allowed to circumcise him. You're not allowed. A person who wasn't circumcised is not 100% a Jew, even though his mother is Jewish. He's called Arel. He has many violations against him that he cannot participate in holy ceremonies. He's not. He cannot eat Korban Pesach, the sacrifice of the Passover. It's many things. He cannot pray for us. He cannot do certain mitzvot. So he is excluded from Judaism because of his violation. What is his fault? He's a kid. His father is a fool. He didn't circumcise him. Once he comes to age of bar mitzvah, up to now it was the sin of his father, every day of his life. His father lived in a sin. Once he came to bar mitzvah, now the sin goes on the boy, because the boy has to go to the Jewish court. Same thing, the converts want to convert, they come to the Jewish court and apply, I want to be a Jew. And they begin with all the tortures, come back in 2 years, call us next week, no, it's not for you, this, yeah, and they have to come again, and they send them again, and they come, and they have to learn, and they fail, and they come again. It could be sometimes years. Same thing here, he comes to the Beit Din, he has to beg them, circumcise me. You know why? My father didn't believe in it, and I want to do it. Many times I meet Russian Jews, they came from a communist country, and the parents didn't know anything about it, and they're in their 20s now, and just found out that they were never circumcised. And we send them to a rabbi, they put them to sleep, and they do circumcision. Which means up to now they were not complete Jews. It's called Arel. Remember, Arel comes from the word Orla. Orla, it's the piece that you remove. In Israel, the Israeli officers of the army and the government, the genius Israeli government, they made a law that once a person is circumcised, his profile, his ID in the army, his percentage. Every soldier have a rating. What's your rating? If you are limited in your back, if you have back problem, if you're missing a hand, so that lower your rate. Instead of 100% to 50%, to 25%, to 21. 21, it's mental issues. If you have mental issues, your rate is 21. They rate people. Guess what? When a person was circumcised, his rate go down from 100 to 97. Hashem said, before you are circumcised, you're 97. after you become complete. The fools, when were very influenced by the communist people, which is anti-religion, they say, oh, his father already made a defect in his body. He was born perfect, and now they cut something from his body, so he's only 97. Can you believe it? And the Israeli army, and this is the morons of 70 years ago. Today is much worse. The people of 7 years ago, they knew a lot more Torah than us. And they still were fooled to make this law. If you go today, none of them knows how to read Hebrew. Go to the chief of the Israeli army. Ask him to read Kaddish. I'll give you $1,000 if he doesn't make at least 3 mistakes in half a page. Doesn't know how to read. You expect him to make religious laws in the army? In the Israeli army, you have a law, you're not allowed to write with God's help. Everywhere else in the world, Mexico, Iraq, Iran, United States, it's completely legal and very recommended to write in God we trust. With God's help, Bismillah, all the Arab murderers. Half an hour before they blow up the innocent people, what do they do to the camera? Allahu Akbar, Bismillah, Allah. They finish the Hallel of Hanukkah before they put the bomb. But the Israeli officer sitting in front of the audience, don't say Be'ezrat Hashem over here. It's against the law of the army. You can get fired from your job, or you can go to jail. It's against the law. I wonder if they changed it. Up to 10 years ago, that was the law. I wonder if somebody there already opened up his head to start changing the law. I don't know. So anyway, this is the second mitzvah,
I had a question.
circumcision. Then the third one, it's a mitzvah, lo le'echol et gid hanasheh. There's a ligament in the animal, in the back part of the animal, that Hashem told the Jews, you're not allowed to eat that ligament. It's a special ligament. When they slaughter the animal and they start to clean all the skin, everything, and they get rid of some of the bones and fat and all that, you have to be an expert to know where is this ligament inside the animal. Because it's complicated to remove the entire ligament, 100%, the Ashkenazim don't eat the back part of the animal. From where the legs begin in the back, that part they don't touch. Why? We don't want to take a risk. Sfaradim in tradition, in Bukhara, in Iran, in Syria, they all knew how to remove it. And it's moving from generation to generation. They do it. They clean it very good, and the Sfaradim eat the back part. But it's called Gid hanasheh. Why we have this mitzvah? Because the minister of Esav fought with Yaakov the whole night. And then Yaakov overcame the minister of Esav, this angel. And in the end, Yaakov say, who are you? What's your name? He said, why are you asking for my name? And he said to him, give me a blessing. And he gave him a blessing. The sun was rising. And the Chachamim said that fight that Yaakov had with the minister of Esav, it's already symbolizing the future history of the entire Jewish people. That they're going to suffer non-stop from the Gentiles, from the Goyim, in every generation, all over the world. Anti-Semitism, Holocaust, pogrom, one after the other. But in the end, the sun will rise. That's all night, dark. All night he was fighting with Esav. Esav. That's all night, because it's dark. It's a spiritual war. But then the sun is rising. That means the Mashiach will come, and then the days of the Mashiach, and everybody understand the Jews are the only ones. You understand? And then that's called, but they will be wounded after 2,000 years of suffering. It's not complete happiness. You suffer so much, even in the end you got saved. But thinking about what we went through, it's not 100% complete. That's why Yaakov was crippled after that fight. So, because he touched him in Gid hanasheh, in that ligament, there's, as a memory for this event, which was a very significant event, we're not allowed to eat this part of the animal. Okay, now this is for men, women. Up to now, Purvu was only for men. It's not, the woman has to participate, but the obligation for men. Circumcision is only for the boys. But up here, men and women not allowed to eat Gid hanasheh. You cannot feed your children with that also, even though they're not 13 yet or not 12. But you don't feed the kids with something not kosher with your hands. They went and took it without you knowing, they didn't make a sin. But if you feed them, it's become a sin. You have two problems here, because also it's a problem with the way you're raising your children. It's a problem with another mitzvah of educating your children to the way of God. Then the fourth mitzvah, it's mitzvah to sanctify the renewal of the moon. Every month, 30 days, 29.9, 30.1, depend on the hours. About every 30 days, the moon renewed. What does it mean, renew? And the 15th day of the Jewish month, which means Tet Vav of the month, like what we call the night of Leila Seder. It's the middle of the night. If you look outside, you see a full moon. From 0 to 15, the moon is growing every day. From 15 to 30, the moon begins to disappear. Every day a little more. Of course, the moon is always complete. The moon is the moon. It's a star. But it depends on the angle where the moon compared to the sun and earth is. Because remember, the moon is only reflecting the light of the sun. The moon does not create light by himself like the sun. It doesn't have energy in it. It's like a mirror. The mirror that receives light sends back the light to the wall or to anywhere you're aiming. So that's the moon. So therefore, it's all depend the face of the moon compared to us. Where is the moon right now in the cycle of the month? If you know, the sun is standing and the earth is going around the sun every 365 days and few hours. It's one complete circle of earth around the sun. That's the year of the sun. But then at the same time, the moon is going around the earth and moving with earth together. It's a combination. The earth is going a big circle around the sun, but at the same time, the moon is continuing to go around the earth all the time, which means that the moon is also going around the sun. It's very interesting how it is. When the moon goes between the sun and earth, that's called an eclipse. When we lose the light, like a few months ago, we had an amazing eclipse. So this is all math. They know how to calculate when it's going to be the next time, because it's a matter of mathematicians. But we have to understand that every day the earth is going one full circle around the center. 24 hours is one complete circle of earth around itself. And every 365 days, it's a full circle around the sun. And every time we begin, that moment that the moon is completely disappeared for a few seconds, now the moon, where is the moon? That's the beginning of a new Jewish month. Remember, the Christian calendar is 365 days always. The day starts at midnight and ends at midnight. Start a new day. 12 o'clock at night, always a new day, doesn't matter, summer, winter, all the time, 12 hours. And 12 hours, 24 hours, every hour is always 60 minutes, always, the whole year. In the entire Christian history, always the year is 60 minutes. By the Muslims, the year is 354 days, because it's the year of they go by the moon only. And the year of the moon is shorter by 11 days, which means every 3 years it creates a gap of 1 month. The difference between the year of the sun and the year of the moon. And in Judaism, we calculate years based on the sun and the moon combined. So how God showed Moshe how to overcome the gap. Every 19-year cycle, we add 7 extra months into the calendar. 7 extra Adar Bet, which means every 19 years the Jewish and the Christian calendar fall on the same date. Every Hanukkah, Christmas, every 19 years fall on the same date. That reminds me, there used to be Rabbi Berkowitz in Switzerland, in Lausanne. So when December 25th came, in the afternoon, in Switzerland, one of the goyim in his office, and comes to him, like, he He wants to stab him. He said, Rabbi, considering the day today, you look too happy. You're not supposed to be too happy today. Why? It's the birthday of JC. So the rabbi said, why shouldn't I be happy? As a matter of fact, it's the happiest day of my life. Really, Rabbi, don't be sarcastic. He said, no, I mean it. It's today, tonight is the happiest night of my life. He said, why? He said, how can I not be happy when 2 billion go and bow down to one Jew? How can I not be happy? All year you after us, you curse us, you this, you that. All of a sudden, 2 million Christians, JC, our father, JC, JC, the son of Miriam. No, how can I not be happy? Right? Then when he went to get his green card in Switzerland, he has to sit in front of a committee. It's true. It really happened in reality. He wrote it in his book. So he wants to become legal in Switzerland. So they told him, the Swiss people, Rabbi, with all due respect, you are a benefit to your Jewish community. But Switzerland is not a Jewish state. It's not a Jewish country. We respect the Jews. They have free rights here. Everything is fine. But when you come to us to ask for legal documents, you want to become legal, you have to convince us how you're going to be a benefit to Switzerland, not to the Jewish community. The Jewish community, it's not Switzerland. It's fair enough. No, what can you do for the United States? Oh, we need bakers. We don't have enough bakers. You know how to bake? We'll give you a green card. That's how it used to be. You know how, you're an astronaut? You know about astronomy? Good, very good. Oh, you have Israeli documents? You went to university? You know about stars? Good, come, we'll give you some money, go to Harvard, whatever. Why? We need people like you. You work for NASA. They need you. You're a great mathematician. You bring honor to the United States. Oh, they give you right away green card. But if you're just a taxi driver, there are 5 million Pakistanis here already, and 2 million Egyptians, and 3 million Israelis. Half of Israelis taxi driver. They need another one? They don't need. So they tell him, Rabbi Berkovitz, how are you going to help us? Listen what he told them. He told them, one day the Messiah will arrive. You believe in that? Yes or no? So they say, of course. And you and I know who is going to be the Messiah, no? You say, yes. He said, now let me ask you a question. If tomorrow or tonight you're going to bed, at 2 o'clock at night the Messiah decided to arrive. So JC is showing up here in the city of Lausanne. Now, if he comes to either one of you and talk to you, how exactly are you going to understand his language? The only one can be an interpreter and tell you what he's going to say, Shema Yisrael, Hashem Elokeinu, Asher Yoshvei Betecha, Od Yalu Chasela, Odu LaHashem Ki Tov. He's going to talk to me. I'm going to have to tell you what he wants. I'm a necessity for you. You cannot jeopardize your future without me. The only one JC is going to come and hug and kiss, it's me. What do you think? He's going to feel friends with you? What are you going to talk to him? German? That spot, they all started to laugh. They vote. They gave him his passport. That's what the Gemara say. Life and death is all depend on your mouth. Depend what you eat, depend what you say. You say the right thing in the right time, your life gets saved. You say the wrong thing, they chop your head off. I told you once what happened to me. I had a minivan Chrysler. Hashem Yerachem, what a mistake. So I thought Ford is the worst. I didn't know, anyway. That's in the days they're still in business. So I bought an extended warranty. Pay like almost $2,000 for another 5 years warranty, up to 100,000 miles. I don't like problems with mechanics. So one day I feel the car the shocks is broken, making noise. I go to my friend, he's a mechanic in Brooklyn. He call up the insurance, he give them the claim, he tell them, you want to inspect the car, please? You can do so, the car is here. I say, no, it's for shocks, it's no problem. How much is the fixing? He say, it's shocks and struts. Together, $700, like more than 10 years ago. So they say, okay, they give you an authorization number, we'll mail you the check directly to the garage. Very good, don't have to pay. A few hours, the car is ready. But then they wanted to speak to me to confirm that it's not a scam. The owner of the car. So me, the genius, I say to the representative, I guess what happened is, I can't believe it. I want to kill myself today 10 years later. I say, I guess what happened is maybe the struts were not good and I had to replace them before. The weight made the shocks also break. Oh, that's neglection, sir. You neglected the treatment of the car. It's your fault. We don't pay for it. Tell the guy he's not getting it. I say, no, you don't understand. Sir, the authorization number is cancelled. That day, believe me, I learned the lesson more than 10 years of learning. Don't open your mouth. I'm beginning to sweat when I remember that day. $700 10 years ago, it was like $1,500 today. Anyway, still on my credit card. With the interest, I could already buy a house in Israel. Anyway, let's go back here. So the renewal of the moon, how does it work? Today we have a Jewish calendar. If you learn 1 hour about the Jewish calendar, you are amazed about the brilliance of the Jewish calendar. It's amazing. Hillel, the grandson of Hillel HaZaken, he wrote the Jewish calendar, mamash like a prophecy. It's unbelievable math. Besides the math, the amazing thing is that he make, for instance, Yom Kippur will never fall on a Friday. Never. It's calculated. It will never fall on a Friday, and it will never fall on a Sunday. Why? Because if it's going to be Yom Kippur on Friday and Shabbat the next day, 48 hours, you cannot move muktzeh. What happens when a person dies? Cannot move his body. You can cover him with a blanket, but you're not allowed to move him on Shabbat. If he died an hour after Shabbat started, you have to smell him now 23 hours until Havdalah. Cannot move him. What happens if he died in a living room? You have to eat your Shabbos meal. Remember, it's the Middle East, 110 degrees, very humid, no refrigerator, no Chevrat Kadisha or anything like this, small houses. You have to spend now 20 hours with a dead body. Now, if Yom Kippur comes Sunday, 47 hours of delicious fragrance. Beautiful. Whatever, you know. So he had mercy on the people. He planned Yom Kippur will never be attached to Shabbat. It can fall on Shabbat, no problem. It's like one Shabbat. But before or after, never falls. It's brilliant. You learn about the calendar, you see right away it's divine. It cannot be human. But what did we do before the calendar was written? The Torah say, we know based on calculation when the renewal of the moon is expected. When? Wednesday, around 6 in the evening. They announce in a shul on Shabbat, this Wednesday, around 6 in the evening, expect to see the renewal of the moon. No, and then what? Once 2 witnesses come to the Jewish Beit Din, and they testify they saw the renewal of the moon, they announce Rosh Chodesh, the beginning of the month today, and they begin to count the day. When it's Yom Kippur, 10 days from now. When it's Pesach, 14 days from now. And they send messenger on a horse to Syria, and then to Iraq. It takes days to ride on a horse to go all the way to Iraq. It takes a few days to let the Jews in the exile that they know when the renewal of the moon is. You may ask, why can't the Jewish Beit Din in Baghdad can also accept witnesses? The moon in Baghdad is the same moon in Israel, same time. What's the problem? You have to come with a horse all the way from Israel to Iraq. We have 2 Jews from the market in Baghdad. They see the moon and they come to us and we say it's Rosh Chodesh. The Torah say no. Why? Because sometimes there's doubts. It's a matter of moments. Over here they'll celebrate Yom Kippur on Wednesday. Over there they'll decide it was a few minutes after the sunset. They'll fast on Thursday. Cannot be that some of the Jews will fast today and some tomorrow. It has to be one source in the Holy Land only. Then later they started to make fires on the mountain. And people used to have a torch, and they used to do like we do with the lulav, go up and down, left, right, all these things. And then somebody on the mountain, he knows, around tonight, around 6 o'clock, we expect the renewal of the moon. When they begin to see the fire, he does the same thing, and another one, and another one. In half an hour, everybody knows. But then came the liberal Jews. They love the religion so much, they love God so much, so they decided to trick the religious Jews. We cannot stand them anyway. We don't want religion. So let's come with a torch on a mountain a day before. We'll confuse them. That the religious Jews will eat on Yom Kippur. That's what they used to do. It didn't start today. Whatever the damage they make to Israel, today in Israel and in America, all this, we call them in Hebrew, Yefei Nefesh, hypocrite. If you want to get a nice email from me, if you understand Hebrew, give me your email, I'll mail it to you. One guy from Israel sent me a great email today. You know, now there is hundreds of Sudanese running away from Sudan into Israel, smuggling. They come to Israel, they go somewhere, they sleep a few nights on the street, then the police pick them up, then they give them a shelter. In Sudan they starve. They come to Israel, they put them in neighborhoods that are not fancy, they give them food, they give them help, they're afraid of them. Some of them are murderers, they can slaughter you if they're... It's mamash becoming a problem. So you have now hundreds of black Sudanese walking in the south of Tel Aviv, all the poor neighborhoods. So two religious guys from the Knesset decided to have a country club fun day for them, like a camp. They took 40 Sudanese, they took them to the pool, to the country club of all the high society Israelis in Tel Aviv. All the fancies, like Beverly Hills style. They took them to Brechat Gordon. You should see all these liberal hypocrites when they saw 40 or 50 black Sudanese jumping in a pool, you know, like ninjas. They jump inside, and all of them, you know, lawyers, judges, they think they're important. They started to scream to the camera, to these two religious guys, "Why are you bringing them over here?" Why? Almost fist fight. One guy said to the guy, "If you film me, I'll break your camera in your face." All of a sudden, the real face came out. What was the whole point? Every day they stand in the government. We are a democracy. What about human rights? We have to help these Sudanese. We have to give them water and food. We have to give them a place to live. We are civilized people. This is, you know. But once they came to their neighborhood, they were ready to slaughter their head off. They insulted them. Some of these black people got offended. They went out. They don't understand Hebrew. But from the argument, they got the point. The other ones didn't care. They jump, they swim, everyone is fighting. And this Sudani... I'm telling you, it's a million. It's going to be on my Facebook page. I told the guy, put it on the Facebook. But this is it. Tzvuim, hypocrite people, Hashem cannot stand. It's called echad b'peh, echad b'lev. One in his mouth and the opposite in his heart. Always. Smiling. Diplomacy. You know, diplomat. Everything is faking, but inside is planning to stab you in the back as soon as you turn around. So this is the mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh. Mitzvah of Rosh Chodesh, like I said, once they renew the moon, that's it. Now they have to be kosher people, kosher witnesses. If someone is a suspect that is not religious, not Shomer Shabbat, cannot rely on him, they don't accept a testimony from him. And you may ask one last question. Why the witnesses wants to leave their work and run to the Jewish Bedin and waste their time? On a donkey, on a horse. What do I care about Rosh Chodesh? Somebody else will go. But everybody wanted to do it. Why? Because the chief rabbis are making a great meal on that like if they expected Rosh Chodesh to be around 6 o'clock on Wednesday, so from 5 o'clock, all the important rabbis come, they serve a beautiful table, and the witnesses who come, they join the meal. How many opportunities you have to eat with Rabbi Ovadia Yosef, Rav Eliashiv, and Rav Steinman in the same table? You stand online 70 years, you give all your money, probably will never happen. All you have to do, Rabbi, I saw the renewal of the moon. Here, sit next to Rav Ovadia. Rav Eliashiv, please sit next to him. Baruch Hashem. That's why. Today, I doubt that if people would appreciate it. But in the old days, they knew just to sit next to a chacham, like this chachamim of the Talmud, it's like winning the lottery 1,000,000 times. That's why everyone was anxious to testify. Okay, the next mitzvah after Rosh Chodesh is slaughtering the goat, the sacrifice of Passover. Sacrificing the Korban HaPesach. Now there are 2 Korban HaPesach. There's one Korban HaPesach in the original year of the Exodus of Egypt. This is the goat that God said to the Jews, tie them into the bed 4 days before you're going out of Egypt. That the Egyptians will ask you, why every one of you have a goat tied to his bed? What's going on here? Why the Egyptian care? Because the goat was the god of Egypt. Like the cow, it's the god of India. The Hindus, when they see a cow, everyone bow down and they begin to fight. What are they fighting? Who's going to get the pee of the cow to drink for breakfast? Yeah, that's what they do. I'm not making up stories. Go on the internet, search. The Indians will fight. You come to the Indian and say, hey, Maharaji, look, I have a whole bucket full of pee for my cow. You want it? How much? Right away. Be careful. Don't eat it. If an Hindu see you eating cow, he's finished with you. That's it. I remember when I used to live in Manhattan, I had an indoor parking. So one time I go down, I see this Indian guy comes to me. He say, you have this in a car, it's great. I say, what? He showed me the blessing of the way. Birkat HaDerech. One side Hebrew, one side English. So he read the English one. He parks the cars. I said, oh, you like it? He said, very good. So why you care about this? Why? To ask God to protect us on the way. So it made good impression on me. How much it worth? $1. I said, you like it? You can have it. I get another one. Really? I say, yeah. So now, again, my mouth. I say to him, as long as you're not one of these people, bow down to the cow and this. Oh, my romance with this guy is over. He said, what do you mean? I say, I heard that some of you, in India, they bow down to the cow and this. Why does he want the blessing of the God of Israel if he bow down to a cow? He said, no, the cow is holy. I said, why the cow is holy? Because it gives birth after 9 months. So the cow has 2 eyes. Is holy because of that? The monkey has 2 eyes. Is holy? We have 2 eyes. He has 2 eyes. Because of that, is holy? Well, what's the connection? But of course, after that, I never get an okay with him. I was hoping every day that he won't cut the seats with a razor or something. Baruch Hashem, until one day he moved out of there. So, eating Korban HaPesach, the goat of Pesach, you have to give the one who slaughtered the Korban your name in advance. And they have to write you in their list, and each group has X amount of members. A convert that he had circumcision, but he did not go into the mikveh yet, cannot eat from it. A Jew that is impure cannot eat from it. There is a second chance for converts who did not complete the conversion. A month later, God gives second Passover, Pesach Sheni. Right? Exactly a month later in a month of Iyar. And the impure Jews and the converts who did not complete their process have another chance to sacrifice and eat it with a matzah a month later. What happens if the entire nation of Israel is impure? There's no ashes of the red cow, no ashes. And everybody stood next to a dead body in the last 20 years. So now no one is pure now. You're allowed to eat it. If everyone is impure, the Torah says you can eat. If individuals are impure, they'll wait for the second chance. So this is the sacrifice of the Pesach. One last thing to say about it. Everything is very brief. That it must be barbecued on a fire. It cannot be steamed. It cannot be cooked in a pot. It has to be barbecued directly like a roast on a fire. What happens if you steam it and then you put it on a grill? Not kosher. What happens if you put it in oil and fry it? Not kosher. Even in the end you put it on a grill, it has to be 100% made on a grill. And this is the mitzvah of the sacrifice of the Pesach. The 8th mitzvah, you're not allowed to leave any meat from that sacrifice. Must be finished. You better not eat for a day before. Over there, it's like by my mother. You come to the meal, the table must be clean. They don't take anything back. You have to finish. No, food we don't throw. No, but I'm stuffed. No. Breathe 10 minutes and eat again. Like a Bukharian wedding. 8 different meals. This, finish, it's like it just started. We're already an hour here. No, the party is only beginning. 500 kebabs, and 500 chickens, and burekas, and this, and that, and bread in between, and pickles, and salad. You need a stomach the size of a refrigerator. Anyway, and the worst part is, if you're really stuffed and you're about to faint, they don't take this excuse. Say, no, you're offending us. You're insulting me in my house, you don't eat? No, I cannot breathe. I'm fainting in a minute. No, please, Rabbi, I'm getting insulted. You go to Persian or to Bukharian, you must fast for a week before. That's my advice to you, a week. Anyway, so now that's the Middle Eastern culture in general. You come into the Arabs also will get offended. You come to them, you don't eat, you don't drink. Even the Bedouin in the Midbar, very strange. They see you Israeli walking by yourself, they wait for the opportunity that they can slaughter your neck. But if you see them, come, tfaddal, come, make him coffee. They treat you like a king. If it was 3 hours later in the middle of the desert, that's it. You can say Kaddish on your life. But 3 hours before, they open the table, come, eat with us, drink with us. This is the mentality. Like Avraham Avinu. Then the next mitzvah. So remember, you're not allowed to leave any meat from this sacrifice. And a male and female has to keep this mitzvah. Today we don't have Bet HaMikdash. We don't do it. We don't make a sacrifice of Pesach. But believe it or not, some Jews go up to where the mosque is, where Bet HaMikdash used to do, and they sacrifice over there. The Korban HaPesach, they make a special altar, and they sacrifice it. They claim that even in these days you can do it. And they don't care. The Arabs can get angry. This is our place, and we're going to do whatever we want to do. And of course, there's always a conflict. The army has to come, and this, and demonstration, etc. Then the next mitzvah, a mitzvah to clean all the chametz, the 5 kinds of grains that you have in your position, in your house here, in your house in Miami, in your house in Honolulu, in your house in Zimbabwe, in your car, in your boat, whatever you have, the more you have to work, my friend. No dismissal. We have to clean everything, make sure all the whiskey is out, all the beer is out, all the spaghetti, all the bread, all the pita bread, all the whatever. You got to clean it before Pesach start. When, in the morning, the day before Leil HaSeder, in the morning, maximum 6 hours into the day, which means midday, like 12:40 today. If Pesach was today, it's 12:40. After that, every second you have chametz is a sin from the Torah to have chametz. Even before Pesach started, in a midday already. Why? Because now they're already preparing the sacrifice of Pesach. If there is chametz, you have to eat it with matzah. You cannot prepare the meat and everything when you have bread around. First, you got to get rid of the bread, the Torah say. That's few hours before Passover start. So, this is the mitzvah of Ashbatat Chametz. The next mitzvah, the 10th mitzvah to eat matzah on the 15th day of Pesach. Starts at night. The day in Judaism starts in sunset to the next sunset. Therefore, if Pesach is falling on Wednesday night, really, it's already Thursday. After the sunset, for us it's already Thursday. For the Goyim in America, it's 8 o'clock at night, Wednesday. You go to the bank, to your ATM machine, it's your Wednesday. But for the Jews, it's Thursday. Why? Because this is the way God said. Vayi erev, vayi boker, and there was the evening, and there was morning one day. First night, then the day, together, one day. It starts from the night. When the creation completed, Shabbat started Friday night, right? Adam was created on Friday, a few hours before Shabbat, and then he made the sin shortly before Shabbat, and then the darkness came, and Shabbat started, okay? So, mitzvah, we have to eat 2 ounces of matzah minimum, and the night of Pesach, male and female, must eat. No matter what, a person must eat matzah, even if it's hard for him, I don't like it, it's not delicious, I'm used to great bread, every day Italian bread. Rabbi, why are you giving me these crackers now? Doesn't matter. Whether you're the king of the world, whether you're a simple worker, doesn't matter. Everyone must eat matzah, male and female. Matzah, what's the difference between the ingredients of chametz and matzah? No difference. There's only one difference. Chametz means dough that was put together, water and flour, and it was left 18 minutes alone. Nobody touched it. The dough is 18 minutes and it begins to rise. After 18 minutes, combination of water and flour becomes dough automatically when it touch each other and begins to rise. How do you know if the dough rises? You begin to see cracks. Small cracks. If you wait an hour, then you see big cracks. Once you see the dough starting to dry and there is cracks, that's it. Now it doesn't have to be the entire dough. It's enough one drop of the size of a sesame. Already became, that's it. The entire thing is chametz. So how do you bake matzah? Sometimes you make a big bunch of dough like this, and you have to make 100 matzah from this. You cannot do everything in 18 minutes. You're not a Superman. So the rule is, as long as someone is pressing down the dough, even 10 hours, it will never rise. This is the law in nature. As long as you press it down, even 2 days straight, it doesn't rise. Once you leave it for 18 minutes, that's it, it's too late. So there's always in a bakery a guy that always pressing it down, always. And then right away they prepare on the boards, they put it in and out, that's how they prepare the matzah. It's a very hard work. That's why you pay $3 to $4 on each matzah. 2 slices of pizza, 1 matzah, 1 piece of, it costs a penny, the ingredients, but there's a lot of work. So this is the mitzvah of achilat matzah. Then we have a mitzvah, shelo yimatzeh chametz. Chametz is not allowed to be in our territory. What's the difference? I just said it before, that we have to clean all the chametz out. To clean the chametz, it's a positive commandment. You should do. The chametz should not be in your house, in your position. It's a restriction. What's the difference? The punishments on the restrictions are much worse than positive commandments. For positive commandment, a Jew has to give 20% of his total net worth. How much he has? 10 million, 20 million, up to 20% he has to give. Not to miss an obligation from the Torah. You should do, like to put tefillin. The guy put you in jail, and your tefillin is in a car, you're begging him, let me get at least the tefillin, give it for me. No. I'll give you $100, no. 1,000, no. 10,000, no. 1,000,000. Up to how much? Up to 20% of what you own. You have 10 million, up to 2 million you must give, not to miss 1 day of tefillin. How many fools out there have tefillin in their closet and they don't even open the closet? The grandmother asked, Yosef, you put tefillin every day? Yeah, mommy, yes, grandma, yeah. What? You put? Yeah. And in his mind, yeah, I put it in the closet. And they think they are smart. The old people, and they come to Shammai, why I didn't listen to my grandma, why? Anyway, so this is it. So now, sometimes the mitzvah repeats in different variation, as an obligation to do something, as a restriction not to do, which is actually the same thing. Over here, now you have to clean the house from chametz. And another restriction, you should make sure there's no chametz in your home. It's the same thing. Doesn't matter. It's considered 2 different mitzvot. 2 out of 613. Guess what? It gets better. There is a third one. Here, we just say, lo yimatzeh, you should not have. Now comes the Torah and say, you should not see any chametz in your territories. What's the difference? You should not have. If you don't have, you're not going to see. If you don't see, maybe you have. You can cover it. But if you already say you should not have, then for sure you cannot see. If my grandma is not here, how can I see her in America? No? The answer is to double the punishments. Which means, if you leave chametz in your house purposely, every second it's 3 sins from the Torah. 1, ignoring a commandment, 1, and 2, restriction. Every second. 3, 6, 9, 12. Imagine after 8 days how much? 2 million sins. Rabbi, I'm in Miami. Did you clean your house for Pesach? Nah. What? I'm not in a house. There's a lot of ignorant people. Thank you. There's a lot of ignorant people. Rabbi, no, we're not in a house. We have another house. We're not in Brooklyn. We're in Deal now. But you clean the house in Brooklyn? No. We're not going to be there the whole Chag. We like it.
You can sell it, though.
Well, you can sell it. Sell. I once spoke about it. It's a trick. All these sales. You watch my lecture about Pesach, you decide if you want to sell or not. I don't sell chametz. I make sure 30 days before Pesach, I prepare my wife. Begin to take all the bagels out, all the bread, all the spaghetti, all the crackers, everything chametz we have, get out. The only reason the person really should sell chametz if he has a lot of whiskey. Whiskey is expensive, fine. Other than that, there's no justification to waste time on running to the goy to sell him $20. Hey, amiga, ¿cómo está? Come here. No, I want to make a deal with you. Give me please $10. Oh, I'm working for you, senor. Wow, what happened to you? No, don't worry. It's an agreement. 2 hours it takes you to explain to her what you want to do. In the end, when she finally got it, you already lost $200. You're an important lawyer. 2 hours to explain to her. What? To save two boxes of crackers, 2 little bottles of beer, half a jar of mayonnaise, $20. What a genius. Yeah, like I say, if cases of whiskey, $100 a bottle, fine, I understand. Even that, better not to have too many. We're almost done. So, we should not eat anything the chametz is mixed in it. The Torah not only restricted pure chametz, things that chametz is mixed in it, such as wheat vinegar. You have mayonnaise, and they have vinegar. Most of the products that you buy, they don't tell you what kind of vinegar. You have to go into the internet and check what kind of vinegar they use. Sometimes it doesn't pay. For the $2 that this jar worth, you give it to your cleaning lady. Here, Mazal Tov, you got a gift, 55 cents. Enjoy. You know, well, what's the point now? To waste time? Call the company. Excuse me, Hellman's mayonnaise. Can you tell me what kind of vinegar you use? Hold on, sir. Okay, hold on. 20 minutes you're on hold. Then she comes, she say, well, we're not sure. We sometimes use this kind of vinegar. No, but is it from wheat? I don't know. I didn't know you can make vinegar from wheat, sir. Hold on, let me ask. 2 hours is on hold to save 75 cents. It's like the people who drive to Costco to buy leathers for $3.50 with a coupon, and they pay $7 gas. And they say the Jews are smart people. Depending what. Anyway, so what happened? Not to eat anything that chametz is mixed into it. Even though it's not pure chametz, but chametz is mixed in it, the same thing. The 13th mitzvah, we're not allowed to allow a Jewish wicked person to eat from the korban of the Pesach, from the sacrifice of Passover. Yehudi meshumad. What does it mean, Yehudi meshumad? Is bowing down to Buddha. Or he joined a cult in Japan. Or something, they have 1 million rats in India. There's a temple, 1 million rats walks over the people, and they bow down to some idol. Or he became Christian. All these idol-worshipping cultures, once a Jew participates in that in public and people know, he cannot be a part of any Jewish ceremony. If he comes to eat from the sacrifice of the Pesach, you give him a kick, you know where, and you make him fly as far as possible. You know, you come back when you become righteous. No, Rabbi, please, you know, I smell this barbecue, this lamb. Please, want a piece? Here, I pay you, Rabbi. Get out of here, we don't want to see you. Who said it? Hashem. It's not that, oh, we don't like you because you're not one of us anymore. It doesn't go personal revenge. No, the Torah says someone like this cannot be a part of, for instance, if someone like this slaughtered the goat. Let's see, he used to be religious. He knows exactly how to slaughter, to check the animal, the knife, everything. So he made the best slaughtering. But he has a cross necklace, and he bows down to JC every morning before he drinks his coffee. Every day he opens the closet, he sees JC like this on the thing, he kisses him, a little bit, he go like this. If he slaughter the goat, it's not kosher, he cannot eat from the goat. Ma, Rabbi, discrimination! I did it exactly like in Shulchan Aruch. But the hand is filthy. You cannot use it. It's not kosher. That's why it's very important to know who slaughter the animals. But it's not only by Goyim or by Jews who became Goyim. It's by Jews who worship rabbis. We have many Jews with beard, and they bow down to some idol. A Jewish, religious, sometimes even holy rabbi. He was really holy in his life. But after his death, his followers became Goyim. They made him their god. And when they slaughter, you're not allowed to eat from their meat. If you eat from their slaughtering, it's nevelot. Not allowed to eat from them. Or if they make the wine, it's non-kosher wine. If they make kiddush, you're not yotzi in their kiddush. You have to do it again. Why? They're worshipping a man. Same thing, believe it or not, JC also knew a lot of Torah. Later he became wicked. But in the beginning, when he started to collect all the homeless people, he wrote in Matthew 5, verse 17 to 19. What did he write to his followers? Don't ever dare to change one law from the Torah. If somebody will change one law from the Torah and will teach it to others, will be cursed by God. No? If a rabbi say today, wow, what a tzaddik. No, but you're not allowed to worship him. What's the difference? Because it's JC, so it's bad, but it's a rabbi from our time, it's good. Either you're an idol worshipper or not. There's no in between. So that's called meshumad. Then the 14th mitzvah, שלא נאכיל מן הפסח לגר ולתושב. Like I said, convert who did not complete his conversion, cannot give him a piece from that sacrifice. And residents of Israel, it's called ger. The word ger in Hebrew means convert. But there are two kinds of ger, two kinds of converts. Real converts who accept Judaism with no exception, 100% male or female, and they become completely Jews. They go into the mikveh. She went in Christine, she came out Sarah. But there is a different kind of converts, what we call residents. You have citizen of United States, and you have resident. What's the difference? Green card, they can take it away from you. You went to Guatemala for 7 months, you get a letter, dear senor, your green card is repossessed. You lost it. You have to give it back. You cannot come back to United States. Why? It's only a residence card. Residence. American passport is a different story. Nobody can take it away from you. What's the difference? Goyim that lived in Israel in the time of the Jewish court, in the time of the Bet HaMikdash, if they want to stay to live in the Holy Land, they are allowed. In one condition. They are not allowed to violate any Jewish law in public. Which means if today it's Shabbat, they cannot ride on a horse on Shabbat. What happened? Ahmed, what are you doing? I'm going to play cricket, with my horse. What do you want from me? I'm not a Jew. Not allowed. You want to smoke in your house? Smoke in your house. You want to cook in your house? Do whatever you want. You want to eat dogs in your house? Eat in your house dogs. No problem. No, I meant hot dogs. But in public, you're not allowed. If you are, throw you out. You understand? We don't take you to the Gordon pool in a country club to swim. You get a kick, and you go back to where you came from. But if you respect, no problem. You have to treat you nice, you have rights, etc., etc. That's called toshav. If we say, Itzik, come on, we neighbors 10 years. You know how many favors I did to you every time your wife went? I was babysitter for you. You're not going to give me one steak from your sacrifice. The smell is killing me. A little piece, Itzik. And Itzik is embarrassed. He did so many favors, it's going to me. He lives in Israel, he respects. And Shabbat he always respect, he doesn't play music. He's a nice person. How can I tell him no? Doesn't go by feelings. What God say allowed is allowed. He say not allowed, not allowed, finish. You come to him and say, come Chris, I want to show you something. You see here? You and I believe that God gave this, right? Dios. God, Dios, same thing, no? What does it say here? I'm not allowed to give you. I really want. I want to even give you a kiss and $100 tip. But I'm not allowed. Finish, end of story. And I promise you that Chris will say, you know what? You're a good Jew. Why? Because he loved God just as you are. You know, one Israeli soldier in Yom Kippur War, he fell in the Egyptian prison. His name was Rami. One time I read an article about him that until today, 40 years later, he's depressed. And they complain in the article, what kind of a cruel government that does not take care of their soldiers that have mental issues from the war. They have shock. They got into shock in a war. They were in prison. The Arabs are very cruel. They torture people like unbelievably, like no mercy. He went through mental torture for months or for years until finally they exchanged prisoners. And that's it. He's finished for life. And they interviewed this Rami. And guess what he says? He said, the way they used to torture you is they pretend they left the window open. Like you in a prison. Oh, they open you the thing for an hour. Let's see, there's a guard. Every day they close. One day, they leave it open. Wow, they left me the window. You look outside, you see a yard. And then you see a little fence. And you see that by the fence, very easy to jump over, and that's it. Forest. Can run. And from here to Israel, it's 1 week. I run, I get to Israel, I get saved, no? Very tempting. But it's all supervised. So you come outside, 15 minutes, your heart is 500 times a minute. Wow. You jump over the fence, you begin to run, up they come from the trees. Rabbi, you think we are dumb, huh? And then they beat him up for weeks, starving him, torturing him, forget it, for daring to run away. So he was an artist, painter. He paints pictures. So the Ahmed that was watching him asked him, Rami, we decided because you wanted to run, to give you a punishment, you'll never forget us. So we decided to chop one of your head off. One of your hands. One of your heads off. Well, if he's a Siamese twin, he has 2 heads. That's what Shlomo HaMelech said. When one Siamese twins, 1 body and 2 heads. The father died, he has 5 more brothers. They come, they say, we deserve 2 shares. Why? We are 2 people. Yeah, we have 1 body, but with 2 people, we can speak at the same time. We deserve 2 shares from the inheritance. So they come to King Solomon, what should we do? He said, 1 person or 2? He said, I tell you what, take boiling water and spill on the head of one. If the other one scream, I is 1 person. Like he didn't want to give them 2 shares. What do you need 2 shares? You want 1 stomach. How much you can eat? Your brother that have 1 head and you that have 2 heads have 1 stomach to feed. 2 legs. You don't need more money. That was the idea here. So he said to him, but we want to be nice to you. You will tell us which hand to chop. No, please, he's crying. Don't do this to me. That's it. The decision is made. You have 1 minute to tell us. The left or the right? So he said, you know I'm an artist. So cut my left arm, because I want to continue to draw pictures. So Ahmed told him, you kalb, El Yahud, you kalb, you dog, you Jewish dog. Allah told you every day you have to put tefillin on your left arm, and just like that you're willing to give it up for your stupid pictures? This Rami, in the interview 20 years later, still not religious, because he's mental now. He said that this is what Ahmad told him. You see what Ahmad told him? What do you think? Who put the words in the mouth of Ahmad? In 1 minute, He gave up Hashem, the Torah, eternity, everything for stupid picture. Maybe he will be able to draw the mountains of Montreal. A new picture in a gallery. For what? Hobby. It's my hobby. I can't live without it, Rabbi. I like to draw. I like to play golf. Who cares what you like? It's what Hashem say to do. What you like. If what you like comply with the Torah, very nice, you got lucky. If it's against the Torah, who cares about your wishes? Aser retzoncha kirtzono. Make your wish as his wish. So, we're not allowed to feed the residents of Israel from this korban. And we're not allowed to take from the meat of the sacrifice of the Pesach out of the area where the group is. So if we decided that we eat the sacrifice here, everyone sit around the grill when we roast the goat, no one is allowed to go to a different group. Why? You are a member of this group. In advance they made a list. Who is going to eat? Not allowed to take it. If we decided to eat it in his house, until it's finished, you're not allowed to leave the house. Then, male and female are obligated to eat with this, from this sacrifice of the goat of the Pesach. The 16th mitzvah, 2 more minutes and we're done. The 16th mitzvah is not to break any bone from this goat. It has to keep it complete. Yes, you roast it, everything fine. You're not allowed to break it. Sometimes you eat chicken, you can break the bone. What's the problem? Goat is harder, but if it's roasted, you can still break parts of it. But you're not allowed to break. It has to stay complete. Why? Because it's a memory of the exodus of Egypt. The memory has to be completed. If you break it to pieces, a piece here, a piece there, it's no respect. It has to be complete skeleton, from head to toe. This is the 16th mitzvah. And then, that was the 15th. That was the 16th. The 17th mitzvah, a person that was not circumcised, not allowed to eat. Which person is not circumcised? Either someone who's converting, so we already said it. No, so we're not talking about him. A Jew that was not circumcised. His father didn't circumcise him. He's 20 years old, he doesn't want to circumcise. He's afraid. I don't want. So you don't want, you cannot eat from it. Or, if his 2 brothers died in a circumcision, then they're not allowed to circumcise him. It's not his fault, but since he's not circumcised, he cannot eat from it. He doesn't get punishment, because it's because of a life risk, but once he's not circumcised, he's not a complete person. Only complete people can eat in this sacrifice. The 18th mitzvah, to sanctify the firstborn in the land of Israel. Only on the land of Israel. Which firstborn? The firstborn who are born from the animals. Which one? Ox, some of the sheep, goats, but not regular animals like deer and other ones. We're talking kosher animals. Besides one impure animal, donkey. If you remember, I asked you, there are 2 million different kinds of animals. According to the Torah, which one is the best? I'm talking non-kosher animal. Kosher animals, God said they are the best. But the non-kosher animal, from 2 million different kinds, the donkey is the best. How do we know? The donkey has a status of an important animal. Why? The first donkey who is born to the female, to the mother, is holy. You have to redeem him from the position of the temple, of the Kohanim, of the high priest. No other non-kosher animal has this status. And the worst one is the dog. Even though the dog is very faithful to the owner and helps you and everything, can save life, but as far as holiness, is the worst out of all animals. Why? Because the Torah said that if you sell a dog with the money you wanted to do something for Bet HaMikdash, any other animal, you take the money and you sanctify the money. If you sold your dog, you have $1,000 now, you want to take it and do something for the holy temple, not allowed. Not allowed. Dog, not allowed. Everyone, yes, dog, not allowed. And what do the Jews want the most? dogs, kiss him. In the mouth. My husband, cannot live without him. Rabbi, you take him away from my life, I commit suicide. You know, I have $18 million money in my account, $2 million I already wrote to my dog. You know that Jew made bar mitzvah to his dog. You saw it on YouTube or no? He got him tefillin. At least he wasn't stingy. Most people who come to me for tefillin, right away they begin to cry. You don't have cheaper? 600? Maybe 400. No, 400 is good. Rabbi, come on, no. But this idiot, he got his dog a real good pair of tefillin. Yeah, go put bar mitzvah for a dog. Put in YouTube. Bar mitzvah to a dog. And see what kind of chosen people we have in the world. You understand why we need to make Jews religious before it's too late? Because they become like this. Okay, time ran out. So if we finish so far 18 mitzvot, in Hebrew I did 70. Because I think faster in Hebrew. In English, I think in Hebrew. Then I have to translate to English. And I always get stuck with one word. Every sentence, one word is missing. Routine. So then since I don't remember that word, now while I'm talking, I have to find a replacement word. It's a process. So it takes a longer time. So only 18. So it seems to me that the series will take more than 9 lectures, maybe 15. But I hope you didn't suffer. I hope you didn't suffer. We'll see you next time. Wednesday I'm in 77th Avenue and Main Street. Also over there it's 8:45. Here it's 9 o'clock every Monday. Baruch Adonai Leolam. Amen ve'amen.